Megan Kay here. Quick video for you about what is necessary for you to become a Fit Body Bootcamp coach with us and what that process looks like. So the reason I'm shooting this video is that so many of you have a lot of the same questions about what's it going to take to get you there, how long is the process, what's the time commitment after you've become a coach, etc. So I will do my best to answer these questions for you and give you a better sense of what this looks like. So the first thing that happens is either we identify someone who is very positive, who's showing leadership capabilities, who's got a great attitude, and who has already made substantial progress in his or her fitness journey. Okay, so that would be someone we would identify, and we would perhaps reach out to you and ask if you had any interest in becoming a coach. The other thing that happens is that people will come to us and say, gosh, I just love you, your program, etc. It's changing my life or whatever. I'd love to be able to have that same impact on other people in the future. What's it going to take for me to become a coach? And that's great. We love it when that happens. Because that's really one of the steps in the journey. When we do something and we obtain a level of mastery with it, to go to that next level is to learn how to teach the thing that we have mastered. And that's it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the journey. So great stuff. So what does it take? Well, there's a knowledge component, of course. We have, in fact, I have them here. It's a pretty thick what is it? It's like a ring binder kind of deal of papers and videos that you go through, and that's the coursework. So that's the Fit Body Bootcamp certification. It's very important that everyone who wants to become a coach with us go through that certification, because then you have a base level of anatomy, physiology, movement patterns, exercise design, the exercise science foundation as well, and kinesiology. So that's important. We need you to go through that course. Now, if you want to go beyond that and pursue nationally accredited certification, we recommend it, but it is not mandatory. As long as you've been through that and then you're continuing to do continuing education with us, that's sufficient for us for what we are doing. All right. Now, what does that mean? Okay, you're going to have to do a test. You're going to need to know that this is your bicep, this is your tricep, that your bicep flexes the elbow, that your tricep extends the elbow, the different ranges of motion of the shoulder, the hip, that kind of thing. What some contraindications would be of certain exercises. Contraindication meaning negative repercussions or things that would be warnings of a certain exercise, why we may or may not want to do them, what the cost physically of a movement is versus the benefit, because at any given time we always want our coaches to be able to explain why we're doing a movement pattern and what the potential risks and pros are of that movement pattern. Our number one priority is to deliver our clients results safely. There are some things that happen in boot camp. Sometimes injuries simply cannot be prevented. In both of the facilities, we've had people trip over their own feet. It happens. We have had some other things happen along the way where people have been doing a movement safely and just for whatever reason they tweaked something or they pulled something. It can happen, but as much as possible, the science and the knowledge behind the why and the how of what we're doing will prevent that. So that's one of the steps. Another of the steps is the practical component, and that's where you're coming in, you're making observation, you're checking, you're watching to see what the coaches on the floor are doing. How are they cueing? What do you like about that? What might you do differently? What is it about the coaches that you like the best that makes them the best for you? Anything else that you're noticing about the way that the room is set up? How is the flow from movement to movement? Is there any time wasted? Is the time wasted really important? Is it actually a break rather than wasted time? Those types of things. So that's the observation. Then there is the practical component of learning how to cue. How do we cue, and why is it that we cue differently from other facilities? And we do. If you've ever paid attention to this, a lot of how we cue is different, and that's because we really believe that people learn the movement patterns from gross to fine, and that as much as possible we want to be cueing externals like moving the shoulder blade rather than feeling a certain muscle, because I might not feel that muscle working even though I'm working it. I might not even know what the hell you're talking about, but I can probably figure out how to get my elbow back, whereas if you tell me to move to feel the back of my arm, I don't feel the back of the arm when I'm moving my elbow, and that's very individual. So why we do those things. Also, how to cue and fix mistakes without overwhelming the client, without making the client feel like doo-doo or picked upon or any of those kinds of things. From there, then you begin to coach, and you start by learning how to coach some segments of the workout, the cool down, and then the warm up, and then the middle of the workout, and then the whole workout. And then you have several times where you're coaching and you have another coach on the floor with you as the pump up person, or the second set of hands and eyes. And then you have some substantial amount of time where you're coaching and there's another coach there. You're not on your own, but you are running the show. And then you have to go through a review process where you'll be reviewed for sure by head coach Jenny, and usually also by me, before you are given the nod, and then you're able to fill in for sessions. Usually what we would like to do is, as soon as possible, get you a firm spot on the schedule. In the beginning, we try to position you so that you are the co-coach or the second coach, so that you're not by yourself in the beginning, so that you can build confidence, because a lot of what this comes down to is that practical experience on the floor, which we only get by being on the floor, of course. And then from there, what we're really looking for in terms of our coaches' availability is, right now specifically, we need some people who are going to be available for an evening, one evening a week preferably. And if you have more availability, that's great. Daytime availability is less needed right now, as is early morning, although we certainly appreciate flexibility in people being able to fill in, especially with the early morning and sometimes with the daytime. If you are someone who works part-time and you would prefer daytime hours, that is definitely something we're open to, but it's less of a need right now than the evening and the early morning. We also have a strong desire for candidates who are wanting to go forward and learn more about coaching the Fit Body Forever program as well. That's a more advanced certification. It's extremely rewarding though, and it comes with a higher pay because of the level of skill and qualification that's required to coach that particular group. But I won't lie, it's so rewarding. It's so much fun. And if you end up becoming a Fit Body Forever coach, it's distinctly possible that you might like that more than coaching boot camp, because the reward, the gratification from coaching that group it's immense, it's high. And the rapport you build with those clients is really wonderful as well. So that's the process. Now, how long does that take? The fastest we've seen it done was a little over a month. We had a paramedic who coached with us for a few years. He was just fantastic. Let's be honest, he already knew all the anatomy and physiology. And he was a karate instructor, so he had a very solid foundation in coaching and cueing and the way the body works. So it was a very nice transition to get him into coaching boot camp, and we were able to do that very quickly. Most of the time, it's going to take at least 2 to 3 months, and it is kind of like a little bit of a part-time job while you're studying and learning how to do this. Once you are completed and once you've been through the apprenticeship program though, and you've become a coach with us, you no longer pay membership dues, and you still have access to all of the programming, but you're attending for free, and you're also receiving a paycheck, which is lovely. From there, if you are coaching a certain number of hours per week, we also have the option to give you a second membership for free. So that could be for a spouse or a very close family member. So that, in essence, is what it takes. One other requirement is going to be that you have a completed first aid and CPR certification. Well, the CPR and the AED being of top priority, first aid being less priority. Absolutely, though, that's CPR and AED. Once you become a coach, there is a requirement that you participate at least once a quarter in an orientation to help out with that, and then also to take on coaching clients for some of the challenges. Now, don't worry, we will go over how to do that as well, because we want to make sure that you're successful and that the clients that you're coaching are successful too. And we can be a little bit more flexible on those requirements if you have busy times with your work schedule or your home life. But for sure, we are looking for help with at least one orientation a quarter, and then each time we're doing a challenge, a handful or more if you're wanting more challengers who will be your responsibility. And last but most certainly not least, we do a weekend rotation for sessions. So that gets pre-assigned by Jenny unless she has time when she knows that you're going to be out of town. And then you would swap with people as necessary if you needed certain times off. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about what the process is for becoming a coach. The test for the certification is open book, but I need to know that you have most of the material as just knowledge that you are comfortable working with, because if we are talking in the language of the joints and the muscles and what we're looking to accomplish with certain exercises, and you're completely lost having to constantly refer back to your textbook, it's not so good. So we do need you to learn those things, and it's helpful to know what that is either way. So whether you decide to become a coach or not, it could be helpful to just get over onto Wikipedia and start looking up some of that basic anatomy and physiology. All right, I hope that helps. Please feel free to reach out if you need anything. Also, we have some opportunities for you to come and participate with the staff to hear from one of our former head coach, one of our dear friends, a mentor to many, Adam Glass. He's going to be working specifically with the staff on Saturday afternoon as well as on Thursday evening. So you're welcome to come and participate before you have made the decision to become a coach, because some of this is going to take us a little bit longer, and some of you have expressed interest, but you're looking further out, and that's no problem. So let's just have a conversation to see if it's the right fit to have you attend that now, or maybe we push that out for you later because this is maybe one of your 2 or 3 year goals is to become a coach. 701-578-4311, that's my cell. Call or text with questions. Excited to explore having some of you on the team with us.